Constructor is a special member function here, and it will be called automatically when an object is created. So when I am creating in a class object for a particular class, at that time this constructor will going to invoke. So whatever the data members that I am going to declare in the private session or under which of the scope, which of the access specifier, that will be initialized in the constructor function. What is the class name here? Counter. What is the class name? That is counter, and this specifies the opening of a class scope. Hello everyone, I welcome you all to the chapter 9 of your second PUC's computer science, that is constructor and destructor. Myself Rohini TS, computer science faculty, Vidyashram Pre-University College, Mysuru. In this session, I will be discussing regarding the constructor and destructor chapter. So before getting into the deep discussion, let me have a blueprint of this chapter. So in this chapter, totally you are going to get 7 marks. There will be 2 marks, 1 question, that is question number 14 in your question paper. After that, you are going to get 1 5 marks question, that is question number 33 in your question paper. Totally, you are going to get 2 questions and for the 7 marks. So you have to concentrate on 2 marks question along with a 5 marks question. Then what are the objectives by learning this concept, that is constructor and destructor? In this, I will be discussing regarding what do you mean by constructor and what is the need of using this constructor and what are all the types of this constructor. After that, I am going to discuss how can I invoke the constructor or how can I call the constructor. That is, there will be 2 methods, implicit and explicit. After that, I am going to discuss regarding what are the needs of using constructor overloading. Already you guys had a discussion regarding function overloading. In the same way, I am going to use this constructor overloading. After that, I will be discussing regarding destructor. So these are all the objectives of the chapter constructor and destructor. But in today's session, I will be discussing some of the points or brief introduction regarding this constructor. After that, I am going to discuss what are all the rules that I need to follow in order to write a constructor program or constructor functions. In previous chapter, we had a discussion regarding what you mean by class and how the class comprises of, that is data members and member function. How the member function will be invoked. There will be 2 methods, or how the member function will be defined, whether it can be either inside the class definition or outside the class definition. And also we had a discussion regarding function overloading with the help of polymorphism concept. Right? In real-time application, if I am using an object, at that time I need to be initialized first before using it. So in real-time application, what I am supposed to do? I am supposed to declare or I am supposed to initialize that object before I am going to use. So this initialization will be done in the member function, and I need to call that member function in order to work with that objects, right? Or in order to work with that data members of a class. But how it will be convenient in order to initialize the data members of a class automatically? Due to human tendency, sometimes we may forget to initialize or to assign some value to the data variables. So at that time, what will going to happen? The junk value will going to store in the variables. But that should not be the case. So for automatic initialization of the data members will take place with the help of this constructor concept. So then, what do you mean by constructor here? It is a special member function that will be mainly used to initialize the data variables of a class. So when I am going to create an object for a particular class, at that time the data variables will be get initialized. So that is nothing but constructor here. So we'll see now it is a special member function. What it is? It is a member function. Then you have to remember what are the methodologies that we are going to use in order to invoke the member functions, or how it can be defined, whether it can be either inside the class definition or outside the class definition, and what are all the rules you are supposed to work with, that you have to remember. So it is nothing but what? Constructor is a special member function here, and it will be called automatically when an object is created. So we are going to create an object for the class, that is nothing but replica of a class. That object is also nothing but what? It is an instance of a class. When I am creating that class, or when I'm creating that object, at that time this constructor will going to called automatically. That means no need to call the constructor. There is no separate call for the constructor. When I'm going to create an object for a particular class, at that time it will going to be invoked. So why we require this constructor mainly? Mainly to construct or to initialize the data variables of a class. So these data variables are nothing but data members of a class. So by making use of this constructor, I can initialize or I can assign some value to the variables or data variables of a class. That is the main usage of using this constructor. Okay, so I am going to discuss one example after the rules. Okay, so here there are several rules in order to use or in order to work with constructor functions. So what are all the rules? We'll see now. The name of a constructor is same as the name of the class. Remember this one. It is very important concept. So it is also important for 5 marks question. Mention the rules for writing a constructor function. That means what are all the rules that we need to or that we supposed to follow while writing a constructor function. What is the first rule here? So we have to have a constructor name same as the class name. How I supposed to create a class? So for example, class A. So what is this I am representing? I am creating a class. Class comprises of what? Data members as well as the member function. Already you guys know that this constructor is nothing but a special member function that must be comes under what? Data variables or a data members. So I am going to create one variable private int small a. Okay, after that I have a public access specifier. So what is the rule here? The name of a constructor is same as the name of a class. What the name of a constructor must be then? It must be same as the class name. Okay, so it must be same as the class name. What is the class name here? I am taking A. Then the member functions or a constructor must be have the same name as of the class. So if it is within the bracket, that represents a function, because this constructor is also a special member function. We'll see the second point. The constructor has no return type. There should not be any return type. For example, we are going to use int read data. So what it represents? Here read data is a member function and int is a return type or a data type that I am specifying here. But by making use of this constructor, I am not supposed to specify the return type, because this constructor will be called automatically. That means it won't return any value back to the main function. So that we are not supposed to use even void. Okay, I am not going to use any return type. The constructor should not have any return type. What is the third point here? The constructor should be declared in the public section. What do you mean by this one? You should declare this constructor under the scope of public. That is the third point or third rule of this constructor function. It must be in the public section. After that, constructors are executed automatically. So we are not going to invoke the constructor. When it will be invoked, when I am creating an object for the particular class, at the time only this constructor will going to be invoked. So when I am creating in a class object for a particular class, at that time this constructor will going to invoke. Why? Because this constructor has same name as of the class. When I am creating an object for the particular class, at that time the constructor will be invoked automatically. That means no need to call the function, because constructor is a special member function. That is the next rule. So what is the another rule? We can have more than one constructor in a program or in a class. So I can able to have more than one constructor in my program. And it is not possible to refer to the address of a constructor. We are not able to specify or we are not able to refer the address of this constructor. What is the last point? So the constructor make implicit call to the new and delete. So what it will going to do? By making use of this constructor, it will have two keywords, that is new and delete. So this new keyword is mainly used to allocate the memory automatically, and delete keyword is mainly used to deallocate the memory automatically. So when there is no usage of the memory at that time, this new and delete keyword can be used in order to allocate and deallocate the memory respectively. Okay, so these are all the rules that you have to remember. What is the first rule? The constructor must have same name as of the class. For example, if I have a class ABC, then what must be the constructor name here? ABC itself. Okay, and it must be declared under public section. There is no return type for the constructor, and we cannot refer the address to the constructor. After that, this constructor has two operator, that is new and delete. It will be called for the memory allocation and deallocation. Okay, so these are the rules that you have to keep it in mind while working with constructor, and this characteristics of constructor or rules for writing the constructor both are same. If they ask you to write what are the rules for writing a constructor functions or what are the characteristics of a constructor function, at that time you have to write a same answer. So we'll have an example now. What I'm doing here, we'll see the syntax. I have a class keyword. What is this class keyword? That's specifying I'm using a class. After that, I have a class name. In order to specify a class uniquely, I'm going to give some name for the class, that is class name, and here scope of a class started. After that, in private, I may have several data members. What? I may have several data members or a data variables of a class. What is the another rule? This must be declared under public section. So in public section only or under the scope of public access specifier, I'm using this constructor. What is the first rule? The constructor must have the same name as of the class. So whatever the class name I'm going to give in the class declaration, whatever the name I'm going to give in the class definition, in the same name I must have the constructor, because it is a function and it must have the brackets, and this specify the body of a constructor. So with the help of this constructor, I can initialize the data variables of a class. That is nothing but what? Data members of a class can be initialized with the help of this constructor, and this ends the scope of a class. This is a syntax. In order to write a constructor function, I need to specify the class keyword along with the class name, and this class comprises of data members as well as the member function. So in member function, this constructor is also one of the special member function that is mainly used to initialize the data members of a class. So whatever the data members that I am going to declare in the private session or under which of the scope, which of the access specifier, that will be initialized in the constructor function. Okay, when I am going to create an object, for this class, at that time this constructor will be called automatically, and you are not supposed to specify any of the return type here before the function. When you are working with a normal function, at that time while mentioning the function name, there we are going to specify return type along with the function name, then arguments. Okay, but in this constructor function, we are not supposed to mention any of the return type for the constructor, and it must be in the public section. It must be under the scope of public, and this specify the end of a class declaration. So we'll see one example program, then you can understand. Here class is a keyword and I'm taking a class name as sum. What is the name of a class here? That is sum, and this opens the scope of a class. What it indicates? It is opening of a braces, that indicates the opening of a class scope. After that, I have data members along with a member function. So under the private access specifier, I am creating one data variable, that is yes. So which is of the type integer. What I am declaring here? I am taking one variable s that comes under the data type of int. Under public access specifier, I am taking the constructor. Am I specifying any of the return type here? No, because I am using a constructor. How can I get to know this is a constructor? There we have to check it out with the rules or restrictions of this constructor function. So what are all the rules? The constructor name must be same as the class name and it must comes under the public section and there must be no return type. So if it is all satisfying all these condition, then I can say that this sum is a constructor because it has same name as of the class, that is sum, and it is comes under the scope of public and it has no return type, so that I can call this sum as a constructor. Why we require this constructor? In order to initialize the value for the data members. So what is the data member here? Which is the data member? That is S. So that is of data type int. I am going to initialize some value to this S, that is S is equal to 0. What I am doing here? I am initializing some value to the data variables of a class. So the data variable is S here. I am initializing that S to 0. And I am going to close the scope of this constructor function. I have one more function which comes under the class scope, that is void display. So this void display is a member function of a class sum, but it has a return type called void. So that I cannot call this as a constructor and it does not have a same name as of the class. So I can easily recognize that this display is just a member function of a class, but it is not a constructor. Getting? After that, I am going to end the scope of a class. So this is how I can going to use a constructor function. Getting? So mainly used to initialize the data members of a class and it must be comes under public section. It must have the same name as of the class. So these are all the rules that you have to follow while writing a constructor function. So we'll see one programming example in order to illustrate the usage of this constructor function. So here I have two header files, that is iostream.h and conio.h. After that I am creating a class. What is the class name here? Counter. What is the class name? That is counter, and this specifies the opening of a class scope. Under private access specifier, I am creating one data member, that is A. What I am here? I am declaring one variable or a data member, that is A, under the data type int. So this A can hold integer kind of data. So what are the rules in order to specify the constructor? It must have the same name as of the class. It is one of the special member function and it has no return type. Am I specifying any return type before this member function? No. That means I can say that this counter has the same name as of the class and it comes under public scope and it has no return type, so that it is nothing but what? It is a constructor. It is a constructor. What is the usage of constructor? That is mainly used to initialize the data variables of a class. What is the usage of the constructor? I repeat, students, listen. To mainly to initialize the data variables of a class. Which is the data variable here? That is A. So with the help of this constructor, I am going to initialize this A to 0. What is the initial value of this A now? That is 0. So I am assigning A to 0. After that, I am going to close the scope of this counter member function, that is nothing but a constructor. Okay, and after that I have one more member function, that is increment count, and it has a return type void, so that it will not going to return anything. It will going to perform some of the operation. So what they are doing here? Here they are using incremental operator. For example, if the value of A is 0, if I am using A plus plus in the sense what? 0 plus 1. That means A becomes 1. So in order to increment, I am going to use this member function called increment count. And here I am going to end the scope of this increment count. It is also comes under counter class. It is also one of the member function. And I have one more member function, that is int get count. So what is this get count? With the help of this get count member function, I am going to return a value of the A. So what I am going to get? I am going to get the value of this A. So this ends the scope of this get count function. So here what and all you have to remember, your class name is counter and I have one data member, that is A. that is data variable is A. Constructors are mainly used to initialize the data variables of a class. So here I have a class that is counter. This counter is nothing but a constructor. It has the same name as of the class, so that I can call this counter as a constructor. It must be comes under public and it has no return type, and it is mainly used to initialize the data variable of a class. What I am doing here, I am initializing the value for that data variable, and I have two more member function with the name increment count. There I am going to increment the value of A by 1, and then get count. Here I am going to get the value of particular A. After that I have a main function, that is int main. So where the actual execution of a program get started, that is nothing but what? Main function. Here what I am doing, I am creating an object. So what I am creating? I am creating an object. How many objects are here? There we have two objects, that is C1 and C2. So this is object 1 and this is object 2. So what do you mean by this? The C1 can have the replica of this class once, and C2 have one more copy of this class. So there are two copies of this particular class, that is there is two instances of a classes, that is C1 and C2. So when the constructor will be called, when I am going to declare an object of a class, at that time constructor will be called automatically. When I am creating this C1, at that time the control will be moved back to this constructor function. Okay, so when I am going to create an object for a particular class, at that time the constructor will going to be invoked automatically. No need to call the separate function. So that is nothing but constructor. Here I have one more cout statement. Cout C1 is equal to C1 dot get count. What is there in the get count? So by calling that get function, I am going to get the value of A. So what is the initial value of A? That is 0. So we'll see now. So if I consider this as a output function, what I am doing here, C1 is equal to, I am calling a get count function. What is the initial value of this A? So A has been assigned to 0 initially. When I am calling this get count function, the control will be moved back from here to here. That is get count function. So return A in the sense, what is the initial value of this A? We are going to get 0. C1, there I am going to get A is equal to 0. After that I have one more cout statement, that is C2 is equal to C2 dot get count. So I am calling this get count function for the object 2. So that is C2 is equal to A is equal to 0. What is the initial value of A for both the objects? That is 0. After that I am going to call one more function, that is increment count. So what is the object name here? C1 dot increment count. So what was the value of A? That is 0. When I am calling this increment count function with the help of this C1 object, at that time control will be moved back to this function, that is increment count. Initially the value of A will be 0. So 0 plus 1 becomes how much? 1. So what is the value of A in C1 now? So consider this as a C1 and I have one more object C2. Initially the value of C1 will be 0 and initially the value of C2 will be 0. That is the value of A is 0 and here also 0. When I am calling this function C1 dot increment count with the help of this C1 object, I am calling this increment count function. When the control reaches to here, at that time it will going to be invoked. 0 plus 1 becomes how much? 1. So now A is equal to 1. A is equal to 1 for C1 object. After that, C2 dot increment count. What I am doing here? I am calling this increment count function with the help of C2 objects. So when I am calling this function, at that time control will be again moved back to this increment count function. For C2, what was the value of A initially? That is 0. So this 0 plus 1 becomes 1. So now value of this A will become 1. I'm done with these two lines. After that, again I'm going to call this increment count function with the help of C2 object, C2 dot increment count. That means I'm accessing the member function increment count. So what's there in increment count? It will come here. What is the actual value of A now? While considering this C2, the initial actual value of A is 1. So that means A1 plus 1 becomes 2 now. Because A plus plus in the sense it will going to take the recent value of A. The recent value of A in C2 will be 1 and 1 plus 1 becomes 2. So now A is equal to 2 for this C2 class or C2 objects. Getting students? So here what I am doing, I am creating two objects C1 and C2. After that I am displaying the value of C1 and C2 by taking getCount member function. After that I am going to increment the value of this C1 by 1, that is by calling this increment count member function, and I am using C2 dot increment count, that will be initialized to 0 initially, and after that I am calling again that increment count 2 for the C2 object itself, so that it will going to increment the value of A by another 1, so that I am going to get A is equal to 2. See out C1 is equal to C1 dot get count. At last what I am doing, I am displaying the value of that C1 and C2. So while calling this C1 dot get count, what is the value of this C1 now? A is equal to 0. So that C1 is equal to what's there in get count? That is this value. It will going to return the value of A. So that what is the value of that A? 1. That is regarding C1. And I have one more line, that is C2 is equal to C2 dot get count. What is the get count value of that C2? That is 2. So C2 is equal to 2. So this will be the output. And I am going to end the scope of this main function. So this is how constructor will going to work. Here I am not calling any of the member function. When I am creating an object for a particular class, at that time the constructor will going to be called automatically. In order to initialize the data variables automatically, I can go with a concept called constructor. So in today's session, I had discussion regarding what do you mean by constructor and why it will be required. So mainly to initialize the data variables of a class, I am going to use the constructor concept. After that, there is a one syntax. In order to write a constructor program, it must have followed several rules. So rules must be followed in order to write the constructor function. After that, we had a discussion regarding one of the program. So it is mainly used to illustrate the usage of constructor in our program. It's all about today's session. In the coming session, I am going to discuss regarding the types of a constructor. Until that, keep learning, keep on growing. Thank you.